Well, hello everybody and welcome to Young Adult Edition. We are so excited because today is our royal episode. We know the royal wedding just happened over the weekend, and today we're talking all about the royal wedding, the fashion, and Princess Young Adult books. I am k.m. Robinson, author of the Siren Wars saga, and this is my lovely co-host, Elle Beaumont, author of Binding of the Sea. Elle, how are you doing today?
Great, how are you?
I am super excited because all things princess today. We're wearing our fascinators and our crowns. We've got an amazing guest star, and I'm really, really excited. So real quick, we're going to jump in. We're going to get to our book world news in just a minute because we are bringing on our guest star to talk about that. But we did want to mention our princess book. So we are here celebrating our princess royal episode of Young Adult Edition, and we're going to talk all about princess books today. If you are here joining us, leave us a comment. Let us know that you're here because we can't see who you are until you show up and leave us a comment. And we will chat with you throughout the course of today's broadcast. And we are going to jump into our book world news in just a minute. But I have to find the right button here. We're going to show off our new releases because that, guys, was a little bit hard for me to multitask on. So let's show off our new releases for the week. And one of those, guys, I'm super excited about is my book. It is the Siren Wars saga, and it is coming out tomorrow, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. So let's go ahead and bring on our guest star. Her name is Eleni McKnight, and I can't find her button either because I'm just a wonderful person. Here we go. Eleni McKnight, she is hanging out with us, and we are going to be talking all about princesses and the royal wedding with her today. Hey, thanks for joining. How are you today?
Thanks for having this. Oh, I'm great. Thank you. Got my hat on.
I know. I'm so excited about the hats today.
Yes, I love the hats. Not a British royal wedding without a hat, right? So
I feel like the hats were the best part of the royal wedding. Like, everything was gorgeous, but I was there to see the fascinators. Let's just be honest.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
all right,
so British.
Jump into.
We had this.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying. I wish we had this tradition in America: hats at weddings.
Oh,
I don't feel like we do. Yeah, like my cousin, I had to ask her for this hat. I don't have hats.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Why don't you have hats?" So that's a new thing for me to collect. Oh well.
See, I feel like.
Okay, so let's talk about.
I feel like we should have dresses and hats all the time. I just feel like that would be such a fun thing to do here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, before we jump in to talk more about the royal wedding, we are going to talk just a little bit about those new releases. We tossed a couple of them up there for you, but we're doing a shameless self-plug for my book. I'm really excited about this. It is called The Siren Wars Saga, and it comes out tomorrow. This is a book about a royal mermaid, so it totally works for today. Run with me, guys. I'm really excited about this. Let me toss my image of this beautiful cover and the entire series actually up on screen for you guys to see. And there we go. So we've got the Siren Wars saga. The first book comes out tomorrow. The second book comes out next month. And the third book comes out the following month. So the entire series you get within the course of this spring and summer. I'm really excited about it. And it is about a girl who is a royal mermaid. She's not the reigning royals, but she is cousins to the queen, and she works as a spy for the queen. And a century ago, way back in the day, her great-great-grandmother accidentally started a war between the mermaids, which split them into the mermaids and the humans. And no, that was wrong. The mermaids and the sirens. And then they went to war with the humans. So we've got this three-part war going on, and we delve into the aftermath of the beginning of this war in this entire series, and this does come out tomorrow. You can get more information on that in sirenwarsinfo.k.m.robinsonbooks.com. I hope you guys will check it out, and we will be chatting about that a little bit more once we talk about our princess books. I see we've got some fabulous people joining us. If you are here, if you are excited, let us know that you are excited to be hanging out with us. Ludmilla is very excited to be hanging out with us and to be chatting about the royal wedding. So thanks, guys, so much for joining. Do let us know that you are here because we can't tell who you are unless you leave us a little bit of comment love. And, guys, if you are hanging out with us, let us know and let your friends know by hitting that share button below, because that lets Facebook know that people are enjoying this broadcast. When it knows that people are enjoying the broadcast, it shows more of our broadcast to more people. which means we can bring in more friends, more fans, more authors, more people to hang out with us, and we can do more and more and more as part of Young Adult Edition. So hit the share button. Let people know that you're hanging out and that you are enjoying talking about the royal wedding. Cassandra is here, and she says, woo, she's excited to be here hanging out with us today. And we are excited to see you too, lady. All right, guys, we are going to dive in and start talking about the royal wedding. I am thrilled to pieces on this. Ladies, what are your thoughts on the wedding? I know we all kind of watched it. If you were with us over the weekend watching it, let us know in the comments below. Elle, tell me what you thought.
You know what? I don't usually tear up with weddings, but the way that Harry was looking at Meghan, I couldn't help. You could tell he was nervous, and the way that he kept looking at her, it's every girl's dream to have. That is a Cinderella tale right there. But more specifically, just to have a guy to look at you like that, like you're everything, you're the world. It was just, the entire wedding was touching everything.
Yeah, we all got up at 5 a.m. or earlier if you're over on the West Coast to watch this. My gosh, it was an early day for some people. Elle and I are typically up that early anyway. I'm just saying we're kind of early birds here. But I know I had some friends up at 2 a.m. to watch this, so craziness. Eleni, what did you think of the wedding?
I thought it was just beautiful, and it's just something every girl wants, is a wedding that beautiful with a guy looking at you like that. And they just treat me as such a couple. They really, really do. And they really care about each other. And I'm really excited that somebody with this much social consciousness is being welcomed into the royal family. She's going to be so revolutionary. I thought Kate Middleton was a really revolutionary young woman to be welcomed into the royal family, because she's middle class. She's not nobility. But now we've got somebody like Meghan Markle, who's not only American, but she's half African American. And her culture being brought into the royal family, that's just incredible. And I'm so excited about that. It just is a new age for England and for the world. So I'm really excited for them.
And she was just so elegant, too. Like, she was just refined and graceful and just so lovely. And she, oh my gosh, she was just the image of perfection during this wedding. I absolutely loved the way that she posed herself, and she just was just so sweet and so wonderful and so elegant. Cassandra says she loved her veil and loved the makeup, and it still showed her freckles. Yes, it did, right? Wasn't that sweet? I was reading an article, because I've been flooded with articles about this wedding the last couple of days, where they were pointing out how understated her makeup was and how it would be the same type of makeup she would wear out in a normal everyday setting. So it wasn't like overly glamorous. And I read an article, this is kind of fun. I guess the royals tend to like Essie nail polish, which is something I like. I wear Essie all the time. And so they were naming the different names of the nail polish. I'm like, oh, the queen loves Essie ballet slippers. My mom loves that color too. I'm not necessarily a pink girl. I tend to be a little more colorful. But my mom wears the same nail polish as the queen. I'm like, she's on trend. How cool is that?
So, good job.
Now, speaking of fashion, let's talk about the fashion from the wedding. Ladies, did you have a favorite outfit aside from the wedding dresses?
I really like Gina Torres's dress. She's one of Meghan's co-stars on Suits. She had a really beautiful dress on, and I thought it was very pretty. And she was very classy looking and just really represented America. And I really like that. That one was really cute.
Elle, what'd you think?
I loved Priyanka's reception dress. That dress was stunning. I loved Abigail. Oh my gosh, I forgot her last name. But Abigail's, her navy blue and polka dot dress. Those two are probably my favorite outfits of the day.
Those are mine too. I was absolutely floored when I saw Abigail Spencer's blue polka dot dress. I just thought it was so stunning. And I didn't realize it was her at first. So I saw it and I'm like, oh, somebody's going very retro, very timeless, which is her TV show. With this dress, it looks like she stepped right out of the show. Then I figured out it was her when she got closer. And I'm like, she's representing her show. She looks stunning. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I just loved her fascinator hat, whatever we're calling that particular hairpiece, and her dress. I just loved it so much. And then Priyanka's reception dress. I don't know if everybody has seen those yet, but the reception dresses are like even more glamorous than the wedding dresses. And I just, it was glittery and it was gorgeous and I just loved it. I thought it was so, so pretty. But they had such good fashion. I've been accidentally reading articles. I say accidentally. I see them. I'm like, oh, I should read that. But
yes,
the dresses were just so cool. And I was a big fan of the fashion. I was definitely there for the fashion. I was definitely standing near my TV, holding my camera up, my phone, because I didn't know if my people were awake yet that early at like 5 a.m. Like, I had to get this little clip of them to show them these outfits because I don't know if they'll see them later, which of course, duh, what was I thinking? They put them all over the internet, but 5 a.m. I didn't have my full thinking capacity going on there. And I was just so excited to see all the fashion. We've got comments about Serena Williams and Oprah because Oprah, come on. Oh, yeah, she did have a nice outfit, didn't she? With the hat. I was a big fan of that. And Beatrice and Eugenie looked good too. They did. Everybody looks so good. Oh, you know who I did like? Sarah Rafferty. She had that navy blue dress on with the bell sleeves, those really poofy sleeves. And the first time I saw it, I was like, maybe not. And then as I looked at it more, I'm like, I actually love this dress. This is kind of amazing. And I know you didn't like it, but, but I did. I thought it was pretty. And her hairpiece, I was absolutely in love with her hairpiece.
I did like the dress. The sleeves is what threw me off. If the dress lines were a little bit different to accommodate the sleeves, I'd probably like it more. I know we have different views on the lines and everything, artistically wise, but
I know. Well, that's because I'm a fashion photographer, and so I'm like, oh, unique lines. Let's go to the fashion-y version of this. So I was like, no, actually, I do like that, and I want to photograph that. But I feel like that particular color and that particular fascinator with her hair was magnificent. Like, I loved it. You know who else was pretty? Trey Belisario. She had a pretty outfit on. I didn't actually see much of her during the footage, but afterwards I saw her dress, and it was very pretty. Her husband is one of Megan's co-stars from Suits. So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the one that played Mike, and I'm blanking on his name, but she married the guy that played her, Megan's on-screen husband. So they were there. That was kind of fun. But you didn't see very much of them. So yeah. Anyway, so lots of fun fashion. There was a lot of really cool stuff going on at the royal wedding. We were big fans of the royal wedding. If you've got comments, if you've got some love for the royal wedding, go ahead and let us know in the comments below, even if you are watching on the replay. We do want to hear from you, whether you are here live with us on facebook.com/k.m.robinson books, on the replay here on Facebook, or over on YouTube, or on our blog. We do want to hear from you, so leave us some love. We'll be responding to you throughout the course of the next couple of days and weeks, so we would love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you happen to have a picture of you in a beautiful hat or fascinator, send it in so we can see it. Tag us on #YoungAdultEdition so we can check those out later on. English fashion, we've got a comment here, is a lot different than American fashion, so I imagine a lot of Americans didn't care for most of the dresses. They were also required to wear sleeves and cut just below the knee, not typical American lines. Ooh, I did not know that they had a dress length. That is interesting. Very interesting. So let's just take a minute. Let's talk about the wedding dresses. I know that Meghan had her beautiful Givenchy dress, and then she had... Was it Stella McCartney for her reception dress? Is that what it was? The halter top. Did you prefer the wedding dress or the reception dress, ladies?
Honestly, I kind of like the wedding dress more. Just the boat neck neckline. I really like that one. It was almost off the shoulder, but that's one of the rules with royal weddings is you can't have your shoulders exposed and your arms can't be exposed in your wedding dress. Because, I mean, if you look at Kate Middleton's dress, it was like she was pretty much wearing like long sleeves, completely covered. But I really like the option of the boat neckline. That one was really pretty on her.
Elle, what do you think?
I actually preferred the reception dress. I'm not going to tear apart her wedding dress because I've seen so many articles saying that it was too plain and everything. And you know what? She looked absolutely stunning. But I did prefer the reception dress. I just thought I liked those lines better. I thought It flattered her a little bit more, and either way, she looked stunning on her wedding day. So
I'm an all-around halter girl. Like, I love showing off my shoulders, which, I mean, obviously you can't do during the actual wedding. So I loved her wedding dress. I thought it was very pretty. It was very simple, but also very refined and elegant. But I personally am a halter top girl, and I will always gravitate toward the halter tops. So I was rather impressed with that. So that's we've got some people hanging out, chatting with us in the comments. Reception dress is getting a lot of love. But yeah, she had such gorgeous dresses in both cases. So guys, if you want to talk more about the royal wedding, let us know in the comments below. And we are going to actually sidestep just a little bit, because today we're talking all about princess books, royal books, princes. We want to hear about your favorite young adult royal stories. So guys, hit us up in the comments and let us know, what is your favorite princess book? We're going to talk all about some of our favorite princess books today. Elle and Eleni, I know that you have a number of princess books. I do too. We're going to talk about this today. So Elle, why don't you go ahead and go first and let us know what's on your list for princess stories?
Okay, I have two. I already showed you guys these, but these are some stories that actually have stayed with me from childhood all the way up to now. And the first one would be The Princess Bride. I actually just read this book a few years back. I grew up with the movie, and while Buttercup might be a bit of a damsel and relies on a man to come swooping in to save her, it was the idea of true love and how true love can conquer anything, and what you're willing to do for love. And it was hilarious. The second book is one that it was the first book that I ever read that had a female kick butt lead, and that would be The Hero and the Crown. This follows a princess who is destined to marry this other prince, and she just wants to be more than that. And she ends up going off, slaying a dragon for her kingdom, and ends up going through so much, ends up marrying the prince anyway. But it just showed a female taking the lead and control and kicking butt. Like, honestly, kicking butt. Like, that. This is, if you want to read a kick butt princess story, this is it. And those are my two absolute favorite princess books.
Eleni, tell us about your...
That's so cool. I am happy to. I've got, let me see if you can see this. Sorry, I've got a reflection in my light here. This is Vampire Academy. That's one of the first ones I came up with. I really loved this one because just the first few books in the series were just fantastic. But they've got a princess in there. Her name is Vasilisa, and she is best friends with Rose. Of course, it's all told from Rose's point of view, but she is royalty. Vasilisa is royalty, but she's not necessarily the first in line, but she does basically represent her entire line in the, I believe it's the, gosh, all of a sudden I can't remember the word, but I know Rose is she's a Dompier. Sorry, I couldn't remember off the top of my head. The next one I was going to bring up is The Shadow Queen by C.J. Redwine. I've actually met C.J. Redwine at some book signings here in Nashville. She's very, very sweet and very, very funny. She is a really interesting author. But The Shadow Queen has a really kick-butt princess, just like Elle was talking about in The Hero and the Crown. Lorelai just goes in and she basically has a showdown with the evil queen and kicks butt. So I really, really recommend that one. And then the third one I was going to recommend, I think you were going to talk about it, but The Selection. I love this one by Kiera Cass. Basically, it's Hunger Games meets The Bachelor. That's what I thought of it. So those are the three I was thinking of.
I'm a big fan of The Selection. I'm going to be real honest. Back in the day, And I don't have these books in print. I just have this one in print. I'm an ebook person, so I have them all on ebook. But I'm a big fan of this series, and this was actually the series where I had read through the series and I couldn't find anything else like it. This was because I did not know how to search Amazon back in the day. Okay, don't judge. But I couldn't find anything like it. And so I really wanted to continue on this gorgeous, like, princessy journey. But there were a couple of things I did not like about it. Like the fact that America doesn't like to wear dresses. And it was kind of frowned upon. And like, oh, well, she's a modern girl, so she has to wear pants kind of a thing. And I took great issue with that because I'm a girly girl and I like to be able to wear my dresses. And so this was what spurred me to write my very first book back in the day that is not published right now. But this is kind of what kickstarted my journey. And I occasionally kind of hint at it that it was the selection that kind of got me on the path of writing. There were some other things too. But this was definitely a huge motivator in me actually becoming an author. So I love the selection series. I'm very big fan of it. And we're going to come back to this because we're actually going to talk Team Maxon and Team Aspen in a few minutes. So guys, if you're in the comments, get ready because the war is coming, because I know we all have different opinions here. But I got to get through the rest of my list first. So here we go. Another one that I love is Queen of Someday. So this is the Stolen Empire series by Sherry Ficklin. And this is a historical fiction, young adult that merges into new adult series about Catherine the Great. So it takes us on her journey from the time she was Sophie to the time she traveled to Russia, ended up becoming the princess, and then kind of taking over this entire empire. Now, I will say, this starts out as YA. It does not end as YA. So if you are looking to avoid adult content, the last book has a bit of it. So you may not want to jump in if that's not your thing, but definitely a good read. I loved this story, and I loved learning more about Catherine the Great, who was someone who changed the course of our history. So that was pretty cool. I also love Jennifer Ann Davis's series. This one is the first book in the Reign of Secrets book. I told you I was going to get that wrong. In the Reign of Secrets series, this is actually a spin-off of her original series, which was the True Reign series. So this is about a princess who pretends not to be a princess, and she goes out to try to help her country and gets herself in a lot of trouble. The series before this is about her mother, who is a girl who turns into a princess. So it's very princessy, very royal, and I know she's also got a spin-off of this one about her brother. So she's got the mother, the daughter, and now the son. She's just launching into that part of the series, so you can get the princess, queen-to-be, and then the princess who doesn't want to be a princess, and then the brother of that, which is pretty dang cool. And then just for a little bit of shameless self-promotion, we're going to talk about my books again for just a minute. I do have two very strongly princessy books. So we've got The Siren Wars, which I told you guys a little bit about before. This is about a mermaid who is a royal, but she's not the reigning royal. She's cousins to the queen and to the princess, and she is a spy for the royal family. And when the sirens break into the Mer territory to start a war with them and then drag them into a war with the humans, she has to stop them along with her partner Merrick and her twin Caspian and some of their friends. So it's very princessy, but it's a little bit on the darker side because she is a fierce warrior spy mermaid who is willing to cut off body parts and hand them to people. So it's a thing. But we do have royal lines in here, which is pretty cool, and I enjoy that. Then I also have Virtually Sleeping Beauty, which is my Sleeping Beauty retelling. And Sleeping Beauty is kind of like Class President. This is more of a dystopian sci-fi novel. So she is like Class President. She's perfect little student. She's absolutely lovely, and no one knows that she actually goes inside of this virtual reality game that the entire community plays. So everybody in the country plays this game. Older people play it for relaxation and to kind of hang out with their friends. Younger people play it to destroy dragons and to take over different games. So there's all different avenues within this game. And she is actually like second best person in this game. She is almost to the top. She just has to defeat one person to become queen of this virtual reality game system. And nobody knows it because she's awfully quiet about it. And she gets trapped inside this game. She's stuck in a chair in real life. And Prince Charming, our prince here, has to go into the game to help save her because she's trapped. Now, they don't know each other. They're not friends. but her godmother is his aunt. And so his aunt calls him and says, the girl that's staying with me is trapped inside this game. You need to come help me. And she shows up, and he shows up to help inside of the game, goes inside the game, discovers that she is way better at this than him, and she kind of has to do this herself. And he just kind of helps along the way, and they slay virtual dragons, and they fight magicians and evil queens and all sorts of things. So there you go. Virtually Sleeping Beauty is one of my princess stories. And then Siren Wars. I see down in the comments we also have some other shameless self-promotion. Let me pull these up. Prophecy Kingdoms of Chartil. I hope I said that right. Probably not. Gosh, I cannot say some of these names. Sorry, girl. Both good royals, bad royals, giggly royals, rebel royals, and 3 14-year-old boys from Ohio that have no idea what's going on. Very nice. So if you guys want to check that out, Cassandra Morgan, you can check out her books as well. I do see we've got some comments. Let me scroll down and see what's going on here. Does anyone ever wonder if the royal family would be witches, wizards, and attend Hogwarts, or would they be homeschooled? That is a fun question.
It really is, yeah.
I have no idea, so.
I bet they would attend Hogwarts. I bet they would. They would go to like some prestigious wing, though. I don't really know that much about Harry Potter. I'm sorry, but I've only read the first book. But I would say that they would probably attend. It'd probably be like something that they had to do. So.
Yeah, I've never read them, so I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to answer that one.
Oh, well, I have read all the Harry Potter books, and I could see them possibly going to Hogwarts. I wonder what house they would be in. Like, I'm sitting here looking at, gosh, I think Prince Harry would most definitely be a Gryffindor. But Prince Wills would probably be more a Ravenclaw. That's what I'm thinking. And Kate Middleton, she'd probably be a Ravenclaw as well, because she's really smart. But I'm sitting here going, Meghan Markle, she would definitely be a Gryffindor. Definitely. So, sorry, my cat is talking. He wants attention right now. You can probably hear him. Sorry.
That's okay. Everybody loves the royals, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, guys, if you were here hanging out with us, let us know what your favorite princess book is. We're really excited about this. And then, if you're totally loving this episode of Young Adults Edition, go ahead and hit that share button. Let your friends know that we are live right now, or that they can catch the replay to hang out with us, talk all about the royal wedding, and talk about our princess books, which we're super excited about. Now, ladies, I've got a question for you. And for those of you in the audience, whether you are live with us or on the replay, I have a question for you as well. Have you ever wanted to be a princess? Or a prince, if you are a guy hanging out with us. Have you ever wanted to be a prince or princess?
Gosh. Just as a kid, I wanted to be, yes, because it just looked like life, everything at your feet. You could never be wrong, right? Nobody could ever, come down on you if you did something wrong. But as an adult, I don't know if I could put up with all the royal rules. You can't have a social media webpage. Basically, royals just value their privacy a lot. And in this culture, we just have the internet is constantly invading our lives. So I don't know if I could put up with that and always being under scrutiny and always having to pay attention to the dress codes. Oh, and they can't travel together, I found out. They're supposed to take separate planes. I was really surprised. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of makes sense when you think about it, because what if the plane crashes?
Yeah.
That's so morbid to think about, but yeah, that's something they have to think about, is self-preservation of not just themselves, but the royal line. So,
yeah.
I don't know if I would
and they do have a lot of rules.
They do.
I know you mentioned one the other day about board games. Can you tell us just real quick about that?
Okay, I saw something on Clickbait that said that the royals were not allowed to play board games. And I thought that sounded really weird. So the more I researched it, I did find that Harry said that he and Mills were not allowed to play Monopoly because it just got too intense between the two of them. Can you just imagine the two of them just getting really upset over a Monopoly? You know, that happens. It may be that the two of them, like all their family was like, we cannot play with you guys because you are taking this way too far. It may be that. So it may not be an actual rule or protocol that they're not allowed to play board games, but I can imagine that. So
I feel like I've heard that the Queen banned Monopoly or one of the games. I think it was Monopoly at some point because it was just like a bit much for her.
Yeah, maybe.
Elle, have you ever wanted to be a princess?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I used to take playing dress up very seriously. I would go to the local thrift store and just go through all of the old prom dresses and use my allowance to just buy all those beautiful dresses. And I used to play princess all the time. And then as I got older, I'm like, ugh, all of those rules, you're exactly right. All of those rules, all of those people watching, waiting for you to have a slip up, it just way too much stress. Way more stressful than being a mom.
Yes.
I always wanted to be a princess because I'm girly and very princess-like. But you are right. The rules would definitely get to me. I would not like to be stalked by the paparazzi. I would not like being in magazines and criticized for everything. But the fact that you get to live in a palace and wear fun clothes and kind of make a difference in the world sounds really, really cool to me, even though there are all those rules. So I think it would be lots of fun. But there are also other ways to accomplish that. So maybe not so much. But I'm a big fan of getting involved with kind of like learning what's up with the royals and all of that. I don't know if you ladies watch this. There's a show on ETV called The Royals. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yes, that's a good show. Yeah.
Okay, so basically it's a reimagining of the British monarchy, and they've got different kings and queens and princes and princesses, but it's set as though they were the current reigning monarchy. And so it kind of goes through, well, what would happen if we abolished the monarchy? And what would happen if this happened? And what would happen if this happened? And this is how they would react living in 2018. And this is the things that they would be doing. And it's kind of cool to see this behind the scenes look, even though it's totally fictional and I'm sure very embellished. But it's kind of a fun little show to watch. So I enjoy that. I just kind of like chatting about that every once in a while. But I also love shows like Reign, which I know are over now. That was about Mary, Queen of Scots. I was such a big fan of the fashion in that show, which I know was not historically correct. Don't jump on me, guys. I know. But it was such a good show. Did you ladies watch Reign?
I did. I loved it. Loved it.
It's on my Netflix queue. Definitely.
It's so good.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
Fun fact, I don't share this very much. Oh, I'm sorry. Definitely missed that. What was up?
Oh, I said historical shows. Yeah. The ones that are pretty accurate, yeah. So.
Well, this one is definitely, it takes some liberty on this one. It does. But that's okay. We love it anyway. And I'm going to say this. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. I, back in the day when the show was still on, I was teaching, and one of the teachers that worked in the school I worked at is cousins with the lead actor on the show. I didn't find out until halfway through the show, and I never got to talk about it with her. But all the students knew I watched the show because we would talk about it together, and they would come running up to me like, she said this and this and this. And I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of cool behind the scenes of the show. So that's a little plug, guys. Go watch Reign because I'm like oddly connected to one of the characters that I've never met and never will talk to.
Now, have you guys ever watched The Crown?
I saw the first season of The Crown. How about you?
That's actually on my TBR or to be watched list as well. So I wish it was. I don't
cool
see
that show.
Yeah, I started watching that. I didn't get to finish it because it was starting to get to a point where I was getting too emotionally invested in it. I don't know if either one of you have watched The King's Speech, but because I watched The King's Speech, knowing what was coming in the first season, I was having a very hard time dealing with it because I had learned about her father. and learned about all of what he went through and how good of a man he really was. And then to see him portrayed, and you get to see, I'm not going to spoil it, but anybody that knows history knows what happens. I was just starting to sob like every episode.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I always like shows that make us cry.
Nope.
I know you don't. Elle and I have conversations about the TV show This Is Us all the time. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It is like my favorite show. I adore it, and she refuses to watch it because it's one of those where you cry every single week, but like happy cry. It's a good cry, even though it's sad. She won't watch it, and I just, like, when I'm having a bad day, I'll sit there and watch that show.
I don't like crying. It's exhausting. It hurts.
It is. That's hilarious. All right, guys, if you are here hanging out with us, go ahead and let us know in the comments below which of these books that we have talked about today, or which books we haven't talked about, are your favorite princess stories from the young adult genre. Just one more time with the shameless self-promotion there. And let us know what you guys are excited to read or what you have read and you loved. We're going to jump into a conversation before we wrap this up because I said we were coming back to this. As far as the selection series goes, I held it up with the wrong hand there. Guys, let's talk Team Maxon or Team Aspen. So let me just give you a run through of this book if you haven't read it before. It is basically a dystopian novel that is smashed into the world of The Bachelor. So we've got how many girls? A number of girls, a higher number of girls, like 32, 23, something like that. The higher number of girls get selected from all over the country and sent to the palace where they then compete to win the hand of the prince. It's literally The Bachelor in a dystopian setting, and then there's a war going on outside and all sorts of things. An America Singer is sent as part of the selection, and she does not intend on winning the prince's hand, but eventually she starts to compete for real. And we're not going to do like, well, we are, because we're talking about it. If you haven't read it, maybe just not listen for the next 5 seconds, because we're going to talk about who we think should have won America's heart. And I know we're on different sides of this. So, Elle, Team Maxon or Team Aspen?
Oh, you know what team I'm on, but I will tell the viewers that I am Team Maxon. Again, if you have not read the book, please turn off your sound, walk out of the room.
We'll wave when it's done.
I'll wave, I'll whistle, but I have strong feelings in general about the triangle that goes on. But I feel that Aspen waited until America was ready to move on. And then all of a sudden he was over there going, hey, you know, like he popped up out of the woodwork and got jealous because she was starting to develop real feelings and not staying within that friend zone that they both agreed on. And I felt like Aspen, he really just popped out of the woodwork. I think that's the thing that ticked me off the most, is that he waited until it was too late, until she was developing genuine feelings for Maxon.
Okay, Team Maxon or Team Aspen?
I'm definitely Maxon, definitely, because I think he saw her more as a friend before they became romantic, which I very much of relationships like that. And also I kind of felt like Aspen, kind of like Elle did, like he was one of those guys that was like, move on. I'm not that interested in you. And all of a sudden, like, somebody else is interested in America. And he's like, oh, hold on. So I don't like guys like that. I really don't. I don't think they're quality men. So that's why I'm more Maxon, Team Maxon.
See, I read it differently. I definitely read it differently in that I felt like Aspen wanted the best for her, so he sent her away to the selection. And he cared about her so much, he wanted what was best for her, so he sent her away and tried to hold off to give her the best life that he could, and then realized he just couldn't let her go. I am not a Maxon fan, because I think, and I mean, I'm going to try to be nice about this, I think he was a little bit weaker. It's just the way it is, I think. For me, I don't think he was as strong as he could have been or should have been. And he didn't, for me, I didn't read it as he really cared about her until the end, because every time he got upset, he stormed off and he was with the other girls. And Celeste was in there and Marley was in there, and he definitely developed feelings for other girls too, which is why I take issue with The Bachelor in general, because you're making out with all of these girls and falling in love with all these girls, and then you have to pick one of them. And I just didn't like the way that he treated her throughout the course of this series. And then at the end, he basically just follows her around like a puppy dog. And I just didn't like that. So I was team Aspen because I read it differently than you guys did. And I know there's factions that are at war with this. Now, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that is a very interesting take on it, because as far as I can tell, we did not read it that way. We did not even see it in the same light. Right? Yeah. I was listening to you guys. I'm like, but I didn't see that with Aspen at all. I didn't read it that way. So it's kind of interesting, the different interpretations that you can get in most stories, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, definitely.
So guys, let us know in the comments. Are you team Maxon or team Aspen? Somebody back me up here, because we're 2 against 1. You don't have to. You don't have to help me out. It's okay. I will go run off with Aspen and be fine. We'll be fine.
I do agree, though, that Maxon really, he wasn't as strong of a character as he could have been. Aspen was definitely a stronger male character. But I think the circumstances were so different. And Max, he was this really sweet guy that didn't want to be in this situation, and he had to kind of make the best of it, because the way that I read it was that they both agreed that they would be friends. So they both friend zoned themselves. But then I did see him starting to develop these real feelings, but America kept shutting him down. So he had no option but to then try to do the best that he could with some of the other girls. So that was my take on that.
Which is all true. But then my opinion comes in where, like, he kind of sees that she is starting to fall for him, and he was kind of a jerk to her. There were definitely some scenes, and that specifically, like those specific scenes were what did it for me. That was where I'm like, no, not, because I was okay with him up until that point. But then he was intentionally a jerk to her a couple of times, and I'm just like, that's it, we're done. That's my limit. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting to see the differences there. But again, guys, jump into those comments and let us know what you think. Are you team Maxon or team Aspen? Have you heard some interesting stories and theories on this? Let us know in those comments below. And guys, we're going to wrap this up in the next minute or two. Really excited because, hey, the royal wedding. So ladies, last thoughts on the royal wedding, and then we are going to real quick give our pitches for those princess stories one more time. And you know what we didn't talk about, which I wanted to talk about today? Real quick, let me add this in. Princess Diaries, guys. Princess Diaries.
Yes.
Who was a fan? Yes. I have not read the books, but I am such a fan of the movies. Anne Hathaway is amazing. Chris Pine, let's just talk about that for a minute. I am so thrilled with the Princess Diaries and Julie Andrews and all of the characters. I just love it. Ladies, give your thoughts.
Well, I honestly thought that they took some liberties with the grandmother, especially because she was kind of she was a little bit stuck up and mean, I thought, a couple of times in the book. But Julie Andrews playing her, like, she's very strong and resourceful and very loving. And I really liked the Julie Andrews version, of course, because it's Julie Andrews. Come on. Who doesn't love Julie Andrews? So, yeah, that's just me. But yeah, Anne Hathaway, incredible. She was so perfect in that part. And Heather Matarazzo, her best friend Lily, I just love the two of them together. They had such good chemistry as best friends on screen. Definitely.
I constantly
although Lily
over. I love her lines, Lily's lines. Not you, I don't even know you. I love it.
Yeah. I absolutely love the movies. I never read the books, but I absolutely loved the movies. I mean, again, another princess, like a Cinderella princess type of story.
I do love it. Speaking of Cinderella, here's another shameless self-promotion pitch because we can. Elle and I actually have a Cinderella anthology coming out. Deadline for submissions is not too far away. It's in the beginning of June. So if you are a young adult author and you want to join us for a Cinderella story, you can actually go to anthologies.k.m.robinsonbooks.com, and that'll kick you over to all of the information on how to submit for that. And if we're talking about anthologies, that is actually the perfect lead-in for what's going on next week, because we're going to be talking all about how to get involved with anthologies. So join Elle and I next week as we chat all about anthologies. We're going to tell you just a little bit more info in just a minute. But go check out anthologies.k.m.robinsonbooks.com if you have a Cinderella story that you want to twist up, and join us for a Cinderella retelling anthology, which is coming out over the summer. Submission deadline is in the beginning of June. We would love to see you guys. And we may even be doing an artwork call for this anthology. We haven't decided yet, but we do have a mermaid anthology, which comes out next month. We're really excited about it. It's all about those mermaid stories. And we both have 2 stories within this anthology, which we're really excited about, as well as a couple of other really great stories and some incredible mermaid artwork. So we hope you guys will check that out. And you'll be hearing a little bit more about that next week as well. So guys, give us a shout out. Are you excited for the royal wedding? Did you enjoy this episode? Did you enjoy watching the royal wedding? Let us know all your thoughts in those comments below. And Eleni, thank you so much for joining us. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, my website is elenimcknight.net. You can find me on Instagram at Eleni Writing. That on Twitter, and I also have a Facebook author webpage, and I would love to see you there. I love chatting with people, so please drop me a line. And thank you so much for having me again. It was so nice of you to have me, Elle and Katie. Thank you.
We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate you dressing up, because we don't usually require people to get all fancy, so we appreciate the gorgeousness today.
It was fun. I love dressing up, so.
It is lots of fun, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we can't wait to have you back. Thanks so much for joining us. We will talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, guys. Next week on Young Adult Edition, we are really excited because we are talking all about how to join anthologies. So we will be telling you a bit about the 2 more anthologies that we have out from Crescent Sea Publishing this year. And we will be chatting about how you guys can do submissions, how you can write stories, all of the behind-the-scenes details that you need to get involved with these amazing anthologies, whether they are with us or with other people. We've had a lot of experience hanging out with anthologies, so we will tell you more about that next week. Let me go ahead and pull up my graphic for that. I actually have to clear off my screen there so I can see everything. There we go. So next week, come join us as my new frame has cut off part of my information. I'm going to have to remember that for the future. How to get involved with anthologies. Come check us out next week. It is going to be really awesome. Same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook.com/k.m.robinson books. We would love to see you guys here. We're here every single week with brand new topics, brand new authors, brand new fabulousness every single week, and we would love for you to join us. Thanks so much for being here today. Again, hit that share button, let your friends know so we can do more broadcasts just like this one. And if you're watching on YouTube or on our blogs, thanks so much for hanging out. Leave us some comment love and then come join us live, Facebook.com/k.m.robinsonbooks for our live broadcasts every week. Also join us on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitter, #Young Adult Edition Chat. Every single week we are talking about what we talked about on the show in a totally new way. And as always, come hang out with us on Instagram.com/k.m.robinsonbooks for our Monday magazine after the show. Later that afternoon, we put it up every single Monday where we recap the show and give you just a little bit more insight into what we were talking about that week. This is my wonderful co-host, Elle Beaumont, author of Brotherhood of the Sea. Let everybody know where they can find you, Elle.
You can find me on Instagram at Elle Beaumont Books. You can find me on Facebook, Elle Beaumont Books, and you can find me on Twitter, which is Elle Beaumont, and my website, www.ellebeaumontbooks.com.
Fantastic. And I'm K.M. Robinson, author of the Golden Trilogy, the Jaded Duology, the Legends Chronicles, Virtually Sleeping Beauty, the Siren Warren Saga, the Revolution of Jack Frost, and a whole bunch of other books. You can come hang out with me at k.m.robinsonbooks.com, where I have just opened up world portals for all of my different stories. You can get behind the scenes looks at them, fan art, character art, videos, all sorts of amazing stuff. You can also hit me up at k.m. Robinson Books on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, and come check out my YouTube page as well for rebroadcasts of all of my Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, as well as other videos and trailers and interviews and Q&As and fun, fabulous things. I would love to see you guys there, so come hang out. We will see you next week. Until then, stay inspired and come join me tomorrow for the launch of the Siren War saga. The entire series is out in the next 3 months. First book comes out tomorrow, and I cannot wait to see what you guys think. We will be doing a live broadcast right here on the page, so I will see you then. Stay inspired, guys. We'll see you next week.